Welcome, Simon. Thanks for taking the time to do this recording. I guess where I would love to start off is just to find out more about Slingshot. How did they start, and where are they? Where they got to present day.
Sure. Yeah. Look, there was two of us in the start. So my background was in strategy, and I was the lead on the KFC account for 10 years. Came out of another small agency to start Slingshot. We started with two people in a couple of desks in a creative agency in Kent Street, and we've been in business for 12 years now. We now have a team of 40 plus people in our own offices in Clarence Street, brand new offices. As a business, we have a very clear mission and kind of vision for the business, which is that we propel brands and people further faster. And I can go into that a little bit more in detail, but for brands, it's all about amazing thinking and getting them much further than they thought they could in a quicker time, because we really look at things differently. We see what other people don't, and because of that, we get them further faster. And then for our people, it's about a promise that we make to our people that we will get them further faster in their careers by being at Slingshot with the training and everything that we do that will get you further faster.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's go on to that in a moment as well. But you're talking about people there. So in terms of structure, what's the structure like at Slingshot, and can you bring that to life in more detail?
Yeah, sure. So we have a pretty heavyweight strategy team. So there's 5 people in the strategy team, and then a couple of extended people, myself included. Obviously, given my background, I'm still part of the Strat Cats, as we call them, and we have 2 client teams, each headed by a group business director, who ultimately each group business director runs half the agency, reporting directly into me. And each of them has a team of around 8 people underneath them. We then have a trading team, which is now offline and online, have come together into one trading team with a trading director and also a head of ad technology who supports around, obviously, the ad tech side of things, but all of the workflow and everything is managed by the head of trading. And we have five offline traders and about 13 digital specialists across social, search, ad ops, and programmatic. And we then also have a creative solutions team, which is a smaller team in sort of numbers, but we've done some amazing work over the years. We've done everything from 1-hour brand funded TV shows, which I think we've done 5 of those. We've done TVCs. For some of our clients, we are a creative agency, or their creative agency, but we're sort of set up to manage more the content for sponsorships and the work that creative agencies aren't so good at, is the work that we do. So that's kind of the structure.
Yeah. And culture gets bounded around a lot, especially in agency land. Everyone's talks about culture, and it means so many different things. What does culture mean to Slingshot? And it is quite unique, as I know personally. And what does it take to be a slinger?
Well, obviously it comes back to the values, but we live and breathe our values, and we've done a really good job of operationalising our values into the business. So we've got 4 very clear values in the business. The first one is empathy, and just being able to walk in another person's shoes and really understand what's going on for another person. Candor is our other main value, which is about having really honest conversations with people that get them further faster in their career or get clients further faster. And that's something that we do training around. We train around the values. And then spirited is more about the fact that, we love what we do and it shows. So when you come to Slingshot, you really get the sense that everyone loves the work we do great work and we love the work, and that shows. And then finally, invested, and I think this is a critical one for the culture, which is that everyone in the business is invested in each other,
Mm.
invested in our people doing the best that they can do, and taking them the furthest we can in their careers and setting them up for the future. And that comes through in the training and everything we do with our people. And I think, culturally, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take the work really seriously. And I think we also, our cultures are very, kind of comes from the top down. So if you've got a culture that stinks, it's usually because the CEO's, not so great with culture. But I have a real vested interest in all of my people. It's much more like a family for us, and we want to see everyone do well.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we're the number one culture in the latest media eye, and have been for a number of years.
Yeah. And, I guess from a culture perspective, moving on, you mentioned there you moved into nice shiny offices in Clarence Street about a year ago. You were ahead of the game when it comes to working from home. So just talk me through what the thought process was with that,
Yeah,
and what that balance looks like for the staff.
probably about a year before COVID. So 2019, beginning of 2019, we had a look at, I guess, creating greater work flexibility for people, because what we really realised was that um, different people work in different ways, and what we really want, and people talk about work-life balance, but it's probably more about work-life harmony, and
Mm.
making sure that you have the flexibility to fit work in around your life and vice versa. I think work-life balance doesn't necessarily equal work-life harmony, and what we've tried to do is give our staff and our people the freedom to choose the days that they're in the office and the days that they're working from home. So prior to COVID starting, we moved to most of our staff having 2 days a week at home, and we'd already moved everyone onto Teams. Had all the IT set up, had been running all of that for a number of months prior to COVID starting. So I think when COVID kind of hit, kind of pretty easy thing for us to switch over into, which was,
Yeah.
okay, guys, well, now everyone's working from home 5 days a week, not 2. And obviously the new norm will be something probably more like, 3 days at home and 2 days in the office type thing. I don't know. It'll depend on the individual, because I think, personally, I like being in the office because I like being around other people, and I like the ability to be able to, interact and connect and collaborate. Some people work better from home. And as I said, you just need the flexibility there
Yeah.
to be able to fit everything else in that you've got going on in your life.
And the office was designed in a bit of a unique way. You position yourselves as the home specialist as well, which is a question I'd love to, love to find out, or something I'd love to find out more about. But also, you create a home away from home. So tell me, like, what was the
Yeah.
thinking in doing that?
So look, part of a pretty major project in the business was not just looking at the work-life flexibility piece, but also looking at where we saw our strengths being in the market. And when you look at our client profile, 90% of our business is in home and lifestyle. So it's not a coincidence then that we sort of see ourselves as experts in that area, because it's what we do. We've got so many clients in that space. So rather than see it as a weakness and look to try and diversify and get a bank and an insurance company, etc., we've just doubled down on it. It's not at all a weakness. It's actually a real strength and
Yeah.
something that really differentiates us. So we've really gone down that lane. And as part of that, when we created our new office, so as part of giving people greater work flexibility, we also wanted a home away from home, so that when people did come to work, it was structured in a way that was going to get the best out of people from a collaboration perspective and from different work styles and accommodating the ways that different people work. So it is a home away from home. So it's themed like a home. So we've got a lounge room, we've got a library, we've got a laundry, we've got a Zen garden, we've got a sunroom, the studio, kitchen, etc. So all of the rooms are themed, and they're all kind of created in a way that you would expect to use those rooms. So obviously the lounge room is a lounge room, right?
Yeah.
And a casual meeting for smaller groups of people where they want to lounge around and discuss stuff and maybe brainstorm and or present something on a screen. The library is where people go when they don't want noise, right? If you want to just go and put your headphones on and work, or you go into the library. Um, the laundry, there's a lot more stuff going on. There's noise, there's people, you know what I mean? So each
Yeah.
space is kind of designed to suit the way that you want to work.
Yeah, love it. And in terms of personalization, like as well, brings me on nicely to the next question, which is, you mentioned at the top about training and development, getting people further faster. You've got a pretty rigorous interview process versus a lot of other agencies, as we both know. Just talk me through what that looks like, especially around the benchmarking more so than anything else, and what you
Sure.
get out of that. Not just from a final decision process, but also from a training and development perspective.
Yeah, sure. Look, we take our responsibility of hiring new employees pretty seriously. So, and not just hiring, but our responsibility as managers and as business owners around our people and anyone that we bring into our organisation. There's too much at stake if you get it wrong. So we are quite rigorous in the benchmark that we put people through, which is basically built around top performers in that role. I think we've had it in place for about 6 or 7 years now. And the benchmark basically looks at top performers and then looks at their behaviours and kind of default learning style, and it gives them a kind of profile. And really what we're looking for is a profile match of around 80% or more to the people that were previously in that role that performed really, really well. Because what that tells us is, okay, this person's a really good match to other people that have been in that role.
Yeah.
So that would mean that they've got their best chance based on the types of behaviours and their learning style and everything to do really well in that role. And we think that's important because if you're pulling someone out of another agency or out of another role, you want them to do well. You want them
Yeah.
to be able to perform at their highest with our support.
Yeah, yeah, and everyone gets that training and development plan off the back of that as well from
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much
So
day
it
one, right?
kind of
So
has
there's no guesswork.
Yeah, it
Um,
has two roles. It obviously serves us to in the selection process, but also then acts as a opportunity for that person to then learn and grow based on where the behaviours are. So if there are any behaviours that are not necessarily suiting them or serving them well, then there's an opportunity for them to become aware of it and then start working on changing that behaviour.
yeah, excellent. Well, Simon, I really appreciate you taking the time. I think we've got through so much there. Really, really useful information. Really appreciate you doing that. I'll pause the recording, but thanks so much again.
Yeah, pleasure.